More than 1 million foreign nationals visited Korea last year for various medical treatments and procedures, spending over 1.4 trillion won and setting a new record for the country's medical tourism industry.
지난해 한국에서 진료받은 외국인 환자 수가 사상 처음으로 100만 명을 돌파한 가운데 이들은 의료비로 1조 4천억 원 이상을 쓴 것으로 집계됐습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, a total of 1.17 million individuals have come to Korea in 2024, nearly doubling the previous year. So an awful lot of people have come to Korea for medical treatments. I can tell you that my parents come all the time for medical treatments. You know what? I guess now they're considered Korean again. They've reestablished their Korean citizenship at this age. But I know tons of different friends and family members that visit Korea quite often for medical treatment. So I see it.
Yeah, because we have some of the best doctors in the world.
Yes.
But it's also affordable.
And you can get it quickly.
Because,
in the U.S., as an example, medical treatment is very, very expensive. On the other hand, in Canada, it's absolutely free or practically free. However, because it's free, you have to wait forever or you can't get the treatment you want because they don't consider it life-threatening. And because of that, they're like, no, we don't think that's important enough for you to pay for that for you. So then people like that, they'll come to Korea. It's like, can I get this done? Oh, no problem. How much is it going to cost? Well, not the same as the U.S. anyways.
Right.
Let's go to Korea and get this done.
Exactly. It's the same for the UK as well. Like you said, in Canada, the hospital fee itself might not cost you much or nothing at all, but you do have to wait for a very, very long time. And maybe you don't have that much time to wait. So, Korea is the much better option in that case.
Yeah, I remember my mom had a lump on her shoulder, and it was basically non-cancerous.
Okay,
and
good.
because it wasn't cancerous, they said, look, that's not essential. It would be considered cosmetic surgery to get it removed. So the national healthcare was like, no. You're going to have to just live with that lump on your shoulder. It's like, okay, no, I'm going to go to Korea and get it removed. I don't care if I have to pay a little bit of money, but let's do that. And her flight here to get it removed and go back would have been cheaper than a drive across the border to the U.S., as an example.
Exactly. So when you have a tumor or a cyst or something, and as you said, it's non-cancerous, do you use the word benign in that situation?
That's right.
And to say it's not dangerous, basically, or it's not fatal. Okay, benign, I think is the spelling of that word. You can use it for, cysts, tumors, things like that are not very dangerous. 그러니까 음성이 되겠죠, 우리말로 하자면은. What is various something? What is that word?
So various basically means more than one, but the feel is a little bit different because I think of like a variety. I think of a lot of different choices. So it could be just 2 or 3, but it's not really the number that's important here as much as I would feel like the selection, the possibilities. So it's like when you go to a buffet, there are various dishes that you can choose from. It might be like 8 or 20 or 50, you're still going to use various, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like 2 or 5 or 20. It doesn't really matter in terms of the number.
Exactly. Morning Special has listeners of various ages and backgrounds.
Levels.
And levels as well, yeah. 다양한, various. What is a procedure?
A procedure in this particular situation is talking about a medical procedure. And when we talk about medical procedures, it's just something that you're getting done that a doctor is treating you for in whatever way. Now, the actual definition for procedure is when you're going through a series of steps or techniques or things in order to get something done. You're following a procedure. It's almost like following a recipe. Like these are the directions of what you're supposed to do. And I guess when it comes to, let's say, surgery, it's probably the same thing anyways. You're following certain steps in the surgery to get something done. So yeah, you're following, it's sort of like a recipe of things that you're doing.
So normally the word procedure would be like 과정. However, if it's a medical procedure, then you're talking about a 시술 or a 수술. And these are the procedures that about 1 million people from overseas received in Korea last year. So if you do the math, I guess that means on average per person, they spent just under 1 million won. So 1 million people, they spent over
$1 billion.
1 trillion won. So, actually, a little more than 1 million then, I guess, on average. Okay. Well, here's the headline again. More than 1 million foreign nationals visited Korea last year for various medical treatments and procedures, spending over 1.4 trillion won and setting a new record for the country's medical tourism industry.